Why hello there, fellow prospectors. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival. Episode 5, Panning Sand and Going Insane. Instead of trying to find surface copper, chat thinks I should just pan for it, and I am in agreement now. There is some sand around here, but I don't want to disturb the shoreline in the pond that I live at. So I'm going to head to the sand fields and dig up some sand so that I can start panning for what I need. I make this look fun. It is fun. I would say I have played Minecraft before. I have a lot of time in Minecraft, but it's like from ages ago before I ever became a content creator. And this scratches the itch of like survival more than Minecraft. Minecraft allows you to do like to skip the sort of like eking out a survival and go straight to just like, you know, being, you know, wealthy or whatever, being very successful very, very quickly. And I like the sort of survival aspects of games like these. And that's why Vintage Story scratches the itch a lot more than Minecraft does. Now, Minecraft does have one advantage over Vintage Story, which is if you like mega redstone projects, there's nothing similar in Vintage Story, at least not yet, to that. So if you like making weird redstone contraptions, there is no redstone, there is no electricals in Vintage Story. But there is complex resource chains for, you know, leather and cooking and clothing making and that jazz. So I think to start, I'm going to go conservatively with 2 stacks of sand and hope that 2 stacks of sand gets me to goal. Because if it doesn't, I'm going to straight up lose my mind. Maybe a stack and a half. Get like 100. I forget what the drop rate is because I avoid panning as much as I can. But RNG as it is, I'm just gonna have to. Ow! I hate when that happens. If you're wondering what happened, the stone chunks that were sitting on the sand fell on me as I dug them out and did some fall damage. One stack of sand should be more than enough. Yeah, I'm assuming. Now that I broke my shovel, that's the sand I'm going to get. The reason I got more than that is I'm not feeling particularly lucky. So, given my track record of poor luck, that's why I went overboard with the sand. But who knows? Maybe this will be enough. All right, let's get back home to the purple shack. I think this needs to be like a brighter purple pink so it shows up easier on the minimap at night. So there we go. Actually, given that Banlish is here, I should have made it like truly pink. In honor of your raid. Your viewers know. Yeah, here we go. Is there a forest fire here? There must be. Or something. What's going on here? Oh, they're, will-o-wisps. Cool. Not a forest fire. Just some wisps. All right. My face is hungry, so let's do some fish cooking. Well, actually, I'm not that hungry right now. I was. But I might as well clear out the weirs. Okie dokie. We'll start panning in a moment. I just need to fillet some fish. And we'll, let's make a soup. Yeah, let's make a soup. So, I'm gonna grab 6 units of water. Oh, there's still fresh water in, oh, crap. Okay, no, I'm gonna make a stew instead. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then add in... No, I'll just do the fish. Because I can make soup out of those mushrooms. Those are fish weirs. Yes, they're basically fish traps. If you take a look at them, fish can swim in the hole here, and then they just get trapped. It's a passive way to get fish in one of the mods I'm running, which is primitive survival. The primitive survival mod. Alright. Yeah, let's make a fish stew instead. And whatever, I think it was termites in my inventory, just rotted. Oh my god. I'm having torch troubles. That's a nice mod, yeah. Primitive Survival is probably the most, well, it is the most popular mod of all of Vintage Story. Alright, so now that we have a stew coming, we have boiled water and a stew, that is our food and water needs. Let's start panning. And for panning, we're going to want a surface to stand on that is in shallow water. So I'm going to make one. Now, fine. Hold on. Relight our torch. There we go. So if you're wondering, the game has a lot of guides, and these guides are really fantastic for the things that they cover. It's not everything, but it's a lot. So if you're wondering about how to pan things, you can just go into your guides, pan, and do the game mechanic panning. So panning allows you to obtain small quantities of copper and a few other nuggets, as well as items. All the player needs is a wooden pan, water to stand in, and sand or gravel or bony soil. Simply stand in the water and right-click the pan on the material to be sifted, and then right mouse click until it's done sifting. The material has 8 charges for the pan, and it makes no difference. Stone or gravel doesn't make any difference. Bony soil gives you higher yields, though. Bony soil is nicer. So, we right-click on the sand, put the sand in the pan, stand in the water, and wiggle it about, and I just got blue clay. And this is effectively how we're going to try to find the copper that we're missing. So I need 19 copper. I just got clear quartz. The reason why I don't like this is, like, it's just sort of slow and labor intensive, but I spent so much time trying to find copper that this is merciful. And because I'm on the Homo Sapiens setting, I'm not going to find any, like, things oh, there we go, first piece of copper. I'm not going to find anything related to civilization, so I'm not going to find, like, books or anything like that. Ooh, another piece of copper. And you can see why I grabbed as much sand as I did, so that I wouldn't have to go re-up. I don't have to look at the water? True. I'm just gonna stand there. I might as well look at the water anyway, though. Yeah, the surface copper was time-consuming. I've found 3 pieces of copper already. 2 To that end, let's go pick up the rest of our copper. Ooh, hello, food. Yum. I want to pick up the rest of our copper so that we know when we hit the 40, because I don't need to continue panning beyond that. Which is here. So we're 24 out of 40. Is there anything you can do to find deep copper besides just mining and praying? The pro pick. It depends on your settings, but prospecting pick allows you to determine potential densities. And that's actually going to be the next tool I make. Once I have a pick and a hammer, my next one is a pro pick. And the reason for that is it will help me find tin, which allows me to get bronze. And then it also will allow me to figure out where I want to do a permanent base. Because for my permanent base, I would like to dig a well for fresh water that I don't have to boil. And in the hydrate or dihydrate mod, the aquifers are pro-pickable. So you can use your prospecting pick to determine if it's good for groundwater. $26. $27. Yeah, I think this might have been it's one of those. It probably was more time efficient to do it this way to begin with. It's just so boring. But one of the advantages of doing it the way I did is I got to map the world a lot and find things and almost die multiple times. So I've gotten zinc, 2 granite chunks, 3 clear quartz. So the things that I'm finding that aren't copper are going up here. So I can put some of it in my bar just to see. I've also found some flint, because I think I had 26 flint, now we're up to 30. Finding a lot of granite stone. Which obviously, it's granite sand. I'm going to find granite stone in there. 28. More blue clay. The type of clay that you find, almost doesn't matter, except for fire clay. Fire clay has some special properties that red and blue clay don't. So some things you can only make out of fire clay. Fire clay is a little harder to find on the surface, but if you find coal, fire clay is likely to be nearby. So if we go into caves and we find like brown coal or anthracite or something, we can search for clay as a result. It's only 11 more pieces of copper and we're done. Oh, is this? Yeah, that wasn't actually. Come on. Stop fake panning. $30. So once I have the 40 copper nuggets I need, we'll melt that down in a crucible. Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a quick break from this because I forgot to do something crucial, like an idiot. I need to make charcoal. Derp. All right. So quickly make a batch of charcoal. So I'll make a little charcoal pit over here. I'm only going to make maybe like a 2x2 batch of charcoal. 2x2 seems fine. And the way to make charcoal is you put firewood in a pit and then you cover it up after setting it ablaze on top. Pretty straightforward. So for that, we're going to want to start making more firewood. And I'm definitely going to break my axe. Yup. But the reason I'm doing this is I'm not going to be able to actually do anything with my copper until I have a means to melt it. And firewood doesn't get hot enough to melt copper. If I had lead or something, that'd be fine. But copper has a much higher melting point. So I should have started in charcoal the minute I got back home, because that's going to take longer. The important thing about making charcoal, you can't have any gaps. So make sure that you have completely gapless stacks of wood that are surrounded on all... Diagonals don't matter, but surrounding on all sides with dirt or something. Basically not air or water. Now that we're nearing the top, I can cover it up. I need a little bit more. 30, yep, that's exactly how much I need. I need 1 nugget of grass. Cool. So here is my 2x2 cube of firewood. And then in this spot, I am going to create a fire like this. Light it on fire like this. And see how it's reading as a charcoal pit. And then I have 30 in-game minutes to cover it up. So then we cover it up with dirt. And it turns all that wood into charcoal. So good. We are starting on the charcoal. All right. Now that that's done, I'm going to reset my torches because it's been a minute. And get back to panning. I'm collecting the shells, if you're wondering, because I can turn the shells into lime to make leather. It's not a very efficient source of leather, but like in a pinch it will work. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I can't know yet. Okay, panning time. Where'd I put my pan? It's over here. Nine more. Yeah, you can definitely deforest in this game. If you want to combat deforestation, as Banless just mentioned, you can make metal shears and shear leaves on trees. So normally when you cut down trees, you don't get a lot of saplings or seeds from it, like acorns or whatever, to be able to replant trees. But if you shear the leaves first, you'll get a lot of seeds from those sheared leaves, and then you can replant the seeds to replant a forest. So it's entirely up to you to replant forests. The game will slowly do it over time, its own like generation, but by that same token, you might end up with like forest fires and the like, which counter the natural regeneration of the forests. But like if you shear one pine tree, you'll get so many pine cones from that one tree, more than a 1-to-1 ratio, that it's pretty easy to reforest if you're working towards it. To that end, speaking of pine, acacia and pine trees have resin, but player-planted pine trees will never have resin. So, what I'm trying to say is if you find a tree with resin spots, don't cut it down. Because if you continue cutting resin trees, you'll end up with no resin. And resin is a needed resource for a lot of things. So, cherish your resin trees. Because unless you have a mod that allows you to do it, once you cut the resin trees in your area down, you're screwed. You're very screwed. It sucks. You'll have to venture very far away to like a pine forest for it. 7 more. So after we get the necessary amount of copper and we put it into the forms, come on. While the pick and the hammer heads are hardening, I'm going to make clay forms for a few other things. Like an anvil form. I probably am not going to make a copper anvil, though. I will likely wait, to my disadvantage, I will likely wait for bronze, because I only need 16 pieces of bronze to make or 14 pieces of bronze, I think, to make a bronze anvil, because bronze is majority copper on a minority of tin. So for an anvil, I need 900 units of metal. One nugget is 5 units of metal, so that is 180 nuggets, and only 15 of them need to be tin in order to make bronze. And the reason to jump to a bronze anvil is anvils can only you can only hammer things 1 hardness unit harder on the anvil. So a copper anvil cannot help you with iron, whereas a bronze anvil can. So if you make a copper anvil, it will almost immediately become obsolete as you try to get better tools. Which is why you can recover the copper from a copper anvil, but like I'm not even going to bother making one because I just find it is a waste. Come on. Come on. I can't tell if the sound effect is required for the sifting or just like sometimes it doesn't make sound. Only 5 more. Yeah, I think this is a pretty obvious why I did not want to go this route. Okay, yeah, the sound is required. Got it. I do have 2 pieces of zinc. Zinc by itself isn't particularly helpful. There is different types of bronze. So there's black bronze that has a bit of gold in it. There is tin bronze, which is tin and copper. And then there is bismuth bronze, which has bismuth and zinc in it. So if I find bismuth and zinc, I can make bronze that way. I don't really care what kind of bronze I have. Technically speaking, black bronze is the strongest bronze. It makes for better weapons and gear, but it's far less common to find gold for black bronze. And tin bronze is the most common because all it requires is tin, Whereas bismuth bronze is kind of in between, but it requires both bismuth and zinc. Not in a high quantity. All 3 types of bronze is majority copper, but still. Only 2 more to go. Ooh, I found some lapis lazuli, I think. Yep. Dear Lord, just give me my copper. It keeps giving me like granite and flint. It's like, I don't want granite. I don't want flint. I don't even want blue clay or whatever kind of clay that is. The zinc is barely useful. I'll keep it. Because you can make... Like, if you just have zinc, you might be able to make nails out of it. I don't know. I mean, so... Not all metals are all that useful, but there might be some other uses for zinc. And if you're ever wondering, you can just go into the... So, zinc can make zinc plates. Let's see. Zinc fisher lures, zinc hooks. Zinc is part of what goes into brass. Brass is useful for torch holders, which prevent torches from burning out. So I guess zinc is probably most useful for the torch holders, I'd imagine. Holding onto the zinc for that purpose. But brass is a terrible, like, you would never... It's not like an armor or weapon material. It's a non-combat. Oh my god, just give me the freaking copper. I haven't gotten a nugget of copper in so long. You're cursed, sand. You're cursed. And this is why I dug up so much sand, because I have really poor luck trying to get copper this way, or really any metals. I mean, I think this is like my 20th panning of like... Oh, come on. 20th panning of like no copper. Game, you're gonna make me start cussing. Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind! For the love of God and all that is holy! Give me copper. Or at least let me pan. At least work. I'm like starving and dehydrating to death here. This is unreal. Yes, other streamers have bad luck too. It's not just you. You can see why I was so hesitant to pan for copper, because it gets to this point where it's like, I have the materials. So it's like a sunk cost fallacy of like, well, I'll just keep panning. And obviously, at this point, like, panning for the remaining 2 is going to be faster than me trying to find terrestrial native copper nuggets on the ground, unless they're, like, next to me. But this is awful. This is, like... This is living hell for me. Like, I have very low tolerance for, repetitive, mindless tasks IRL. Like, I'm very happy that I've really not had to do a lot of data entry for work. I've had to do some database management, which is like, oh, there we go. One more. But yeah, this is just bad time for me. One thing that veterans of Vintage Story have probably noticed, I haven't gotten any gears, temporal gears, no books, nothing related to like civilization, because on the server settings that I have, you know, you don't get that stuff. I'm gonna pan this last nugget. I got the 40, I know. I'm just getting rid of the partial stack. All right, pan. I hope to never have to touch you again. Ever, 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 ever again. All right, hydrating. Let's eat the hell out of this thing. All right, my food and water is like good enough that I'll survive. So crucible in. And copper in. And now we wait for the charcoal to be done. I might end up using the sand, so I'll just put it away, because like, just, I mean, it's still a construction material. And then the quartz is useful for other things as well. So as I mentioned, once I was done, I was going to make some more molds. So we have our pick and hammer mold. What I do not have, though, is a pro pick mold. So here's the prospecting pick mold. That will fire up. Axe and shovel wouldn't be bad to have either. I'm just going to paint the whole... I should have done this in the shade. One, because I dehydrate faster in the sun, and two, it's really hard to see the voxels that I'm not supposed to paint. So I'll move this activity inside in a second. So once we have the hammer and the pick, I'll be able to mine for copper, which is going to allow me to hopefully get a lot more copper than I have now. I'm also going to do another jug. Actually, was there a multi-jug? No, there isn't. So I'm going to do 2 jugs and 2 bowls to fire them up too. So 2 more jugs so that I can have 1 jug moving dirty water for soups, and then 1 jug for purified water to have boiled water in. And then these extra bowls are for so that I can just empty out for meals or whatever. It never hurts to have extra bowls. But this is so that I can do an efficient firing. There's no point in firing just like 1 thing for smaller items. You might as well have all 4. I also am going to want ingot molds eventually, and also the anvil. So I ought to fire up an anvil too. So as we wait for the charcoal to be able to heat, yeah, as we wait for the charcoal to be able to process, which is going to take a day or 2, we'll just try to have everything else ready so that I can dive into the Metal Age quickly. Now, I did mention there is a disadvantage to not making a copper, a copper anvil, and that is the copper anvil would allow me to get a copper saw blade earlier, and the advantage of the copper saw blade is I could get like a door and things like that, which would reduce the spoil rate tremendously. Okay, I am going to do, because I just ate all my everything, I'm going to do a soup. And I'm hoping that there's more fish for me to put in my soup. I'd like to do a batch of soup for 6. I only see 4. I'm going to assume that I can get a 6 out of this. Meaning I need, like, probably one more fish to butcher. Because it's, at the moment, the wrong ratio. Come on, fishies. I definitely haven't fished out this cell. I just don't happen to have fish at the moment. I could also grab termites to tide me over. Because termites are just over that way. Alright, well, we'll wait for the fish. Let's make an anvil mold. An anvil mold is very clay intensive because it's massive. But you'll only ever, if you make a bronze anvil mold, you'll only ever need to make the anvil mold once. Now, unlike the other molds, you have to break your anvil mold to receive the anvil that's inside. All the other molds are reusable, provided you don't break it with water. So in order to, if you let your molds get rained on, or you like pour water from a watering can on them, you can hypothetically break your other molds. Although that might not, I think they patched that out. So don't quote me on that, because that was a mechanic briefly, but that might not be a mechanic anymore. I'm not 100% sure because of version control. But the TLDR is the anvil molds do need to be broken. So that's another reason to go straight to a bronze anvil and to skip copper, because you'll have to make multiple anvil molds, which are time consuming if you do a copper one. And then an iron mold is done totally differently. That is not clay formed but smith. And the iron molds are the highest tech mold that you need to, the anvil that you need to do. Iron anvils allow you to forge hammer steel on it, and there's no material better than steel, so once you have an iron anvil, you're essentially done with anvils, unless you want multiples. There's actually a decent reason to have 2 anvils, one for a helve hammer, which is like a mechanical hammer, and then the other for a player hammer. You know, they can be one and the same, but there's a little bit of reason to have it combined. So we have a pro pick. We've got jugs and cups. We got the anvil mold. Let's do ingots. And that will be this burn. So the other tools, the shovel and the axe, I can do later. We don't necessarily need shovel and axes, though, because if we pour our bronze or copper into an ingot, we can always, on an anvil, make, you know, a shovel or an axe or whatever else. Once you have the ingots, you can make most things out of ingots. All right, so we need 40 grass. And let's check the fish traps. Come on. I'm getting hungry. I'm going to have to go get... Oh, no, here we go. I was about to say I'm going to have to go get termites if this takes any longer. And it gave us raw fish eggs, but this is not ovulated. So I'm just going to eat it raw. Caviar. So making a soup will help fulfill my hydration. And soup recipes always require vegetables. So a soup recipe is stock, vegetables, and protein. So as long as I have like foraged mushrooms or something like that, I can make soups. And that soup, once done, should help fulfill my hydration. I know my hydration is like super critically low. Don't worry, I'm staring at it. If you're wondering what happens when you dehydrate, you die about twice as fast as starvation. So really not good to let your hydration hit 0. Because you'll lose health pretty rapidly. And the other thing I could do to help with that, let's see. Hey, if I found bamboo, I could make like a bamboo farmer hat to help with my cooling. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I can wear. Not really. There is a straw hat I could make. Yeah, let's make a straw hat, actually. That's going to be better than nothing. To help keep my hydration in. Because it's really hot out, and the heat is making me lose moisture quickly. But a bamboo hat would be better. Oh boy. Let's hope that soup's done or I'm drinking pond water. Oh crap. Yeah, it will be done in a second, but... There it goes. Boom! That's some hearty meals. You thought I was gonna die, but nope. Alright, let's take another crock and boil some water. I'll do 3, because that's what fits in a jug. We will be firing other jugs so that I can store more water. And then there are, once I have a saw blade made of metal, there's other things that I can do. There's other water storages like barrels and kegs and tunes that will allow me to store more water for longer. One thing that's weird about this mod set, though, I will say, is water will go bad. So clean, fresh water doesn't stay clean and fresh forever. So just keep that in mind. It's weird, but it's just the way the mod is. And I could have changed the settings, but I left most of the mods at vanilla settings. All right, we got boiled water in there. Perfect. And then that pot's ready for more cooking. So ingots, anvil, jugs and bowls, and the prospecting pick. Perfect. That's pretty much all I need. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Primitive Survival, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.